Merry Christmas, criminals! Welcome back to Batman Arkham Origins. Last time we took down Deathstroke and, well, that got us a little bit of XP along with a few challenge maps I did in between. So let's go ahead and upgrade the new toy he got us. First thing we're going to get is the another kind of takedown we can do on a tightrope, and then one we can do with the tightrope, but I'll be showing those off later when I get the chance. For now, we have a pretty good idea of where to go after Deathstroke. We did get this tip-off from Alfred about Black Mass supposedly being dead. So it's probably in our best interest to go ahead and investigate that, huh? On the way back, we do get to use our new toy, which, you know, a little bit of a tutorial for it doesn't hurt.
I can use the remote claw I took from Deathstroke.
I like how Batman's completely unapologetic about it. Yeah, I took that from him. Yeah, I'm gonna use it now.
Alfred, get GCPD to take a look at the final offer. More to Dixon Docks. They'll find Slade Wilson tied up and waiting for them, along with some of Penguin's illegally obtained weapons.
Another anonymous tip? Will do, sir.
I do have a little bit of errata to address, in that in the first video I said this takes place 2 years before Arkham Asylum. I was mistaken, it's actually 5 years.
Oppressed citizens of Gotham, your cries for help have been heard. I am Anarchy, voice of the people, here to save you from the plague of corruption that now infests this once proud city. Those hired and elected to keep us free and safe won't lift a finger. And why would they? They've been bought and paid for, encouraged to turn a blind eye. If they won't act, I will. At dawn's first light, the sources of Gotham's ruin will be destroyed. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming of propaganda and consumerist garbage.
As if there isn't enough going on tonight. I should hurry to Lacey Towers before the cops destroy all the evidence from the crime scene Penguin mentioned.
Hello, Batman. I was hoping to get a minute of your time. See, I've got a story to tell you. About crime and violence. Greed and vengeance. But it's also a story of redemption. Of second chances. Of change. I've planted 3 bombs where Gotham's corruption is at its strongest. But unlike those I fight to overthrow, I believe in choice. So, I offer you one. Let them detonate, or stop them. Your actions will determine what I do with you.
Hey, miss, over here.
I've planted 3 bombs where Gotham's corruption is at its strongest.
Whoa, easy now. I ain't looking for a fight. Got a message, that's all. Anarchy says if you're gonna make a withdrawal, you better do it soon.
Let them detonate, or stop them.
So, we find ourselves with a new Most Wanted page because, well, as Batman said, it's not like there's enough going on tonight. So, we have to go around and defuse 3 bombs spattered around the city. These are sort of a replacement for the Mr. Zsasz calls from Arkham City in that they expect you to start off from an area and then platform your way over to another area. I kind of wish my, I think this is actually a problem with the way Arkham Origins is programmed rather than a problem with my computer. You'll notice it's kind of skipping everywhere as I'm trying to get over to this place. Normally, there is currently a challenge active to go 250 meters without touching the ground. You can use the grapnel boost, but well, I don't get it because I can't stop touching the ground. It's, yeah. Street lamps, everything else, it's just irritating. I don't remember the street lamps being this, well, what's the word? Invasive, maybe, in Arkham City, but, well, maybe I'm just remembering incorrectly. Anyway, the first bomb gives us about 3 minutes to get to it, which is not bad. That's more than enough time to make your way across the old district of Arkham, which is that's what I call this area that we're in now.
Respond from 187 in the Bowery. Officers on scene report victim appears to have fallen from a nearby building.
And of course, something else happens along the way, which we'll be getting to that shortly. But the reason I call it the old area of Gotham, or if you prefer the North End, is because this is where Arkham City took place. The south end of Gotham is, well, all new for Arkham Origins.
Better one. Wherever wins equal.
An end to the competition.
And of course, before we can forcibly defuse a bomb, we of course, have to take out its guardians.
You're tied to your job, your mortgage, your need to buy the next shiny thing your overpriced televisions do. Imagine what we could accomplish if only someone would set us free.
And with a little under a minute to spare, we are in the clear.
Alfred, we've got a problem.
So I saw. This Anarchy fellow mentioned 3 bombs, which means 2 still remain.
I need to find them.
I've no doubt you will, sir.
Something I actually like about the Anarchy storyline is that it's not limited to anything. You can take care of all the Anarchy stuff as soon as it's available, and it's pretty cool, and I like it. Mostly because some of the other stuff you might find, oh, I need an upgrade for this or that. No, as soon as Anarchy bugs you, as soon as you step outside the final offer, you can go to each one of his projections and go ahead and take care of him. Which I'll actually be doing in the next video. But first, I've got a crime scene to investigate. It does happen more than once, just when you go to that radio tower. You remember we investigated that crime scene and figure out, well, just how that poor employee died. This is similar, and I'll let it play out and you can see how it goes.
Police know the victim fell from a nearby building. There's not much else in the file. His identity might shed some light on things. Brian Murphy, an account manager at the Gotham Merchants Bank. Cause of death, internal injuries sustained on impact. Now I know what happened. Time to find out how and why. This blood spatter indicates a high-velocity impact. I should check the roof. The railing here is broken. Was it an accident, or was he pushed? Two sets of footprints means the victim wasn't alone. And the scattered paperwork suggests he had a briefcase. I need to find that. Interesting. There are 2 sets of fingerprints here. One belongs to the victim, the other to Robert Haynes, a well-known con artist. Alfred, I need the last known location of Robert Haynes. I'll send over everything I've got in case it helps.
No need, sir. I already have a search area. Check your display.
So, it really seems like whenever Batman does all these crime scene investigations, it kind of comes across as like a CSI investigation, zoom, enhance. And I'm really not sure how he's able to extrapolate all these things from, you know, the evidence he's getting, but, you know, 1, world's greatest detective, and 2, it's really fun, so I'm not going to complain too much. I think earlier I mentioned there was a challenge for going across the entire Gotham Bridge without touching the ground. That was also incorrect. That is actually an achievement, which is not tied into any sort of physical requirement in the game. That being said, if you are trying to go for your 250 meters without touching the ground, this is an excellent place to do it. And as soon as I get to 250, I'm going to go ahead and fast travel over there. But, you know, I got a lot of things that I want to get done as far as the Dark Knight system goes, and, well, aside from the Predator maps, only a few places I can do them. Because the worst nightmare ones, those are a little bit tricky to get. But all of your exploration ones and the combat ones, you can do it pretty much any time, so it's usually worth your while to get them out of the way as soon as possible. Fast travel actually works fairly decently for what it is. The argument can be made that the only reason Gotham was split into two pieces is just so they could give you something to fast travel to, but it's okay. I mean, it could be worse. At launch, the game was so buggy that on my PS3 version, anytime I used fast travel, the game would crash. So if you think it's bad seeing the city how big it is now, imagine how bad it would be if you had to manually go everywhere.
The cops investigating this crime should have a relay station set up. It'll look like a mobile satellite dish, probably on a rooftop.
And I will get there later. In this video, actually. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and pick up this hoodlum who seems to have shoved this poor man off that balcony. Because, you know, it's awfully rude. Batman doesn't like rude people. Normally there's supposed to be a bit of chatter here, but maybe it bugged out for some reason or other. So, let's just go ahead and drop in.
Crap. The cops they can handle. SWAT though? Those guys do whatever they want. However...
Hitting these thugs with the white auras for the crime scene investigations works a lot like it did with Loose Lips. And that all you really have to do is just beat them down, and, you know, at the end of the combat you'll get the option to interrogate him and probably, you know, punch in one of his eyeballs, as Batman tends to do.
Now we talk. He's ours. What do you want?
What happened to Brian Murphy?
We had a deal. He gave me the account numbers. I faked being a client and cleared out the account. In exchange, he gets a cut. It's a con I run 100 times. But then he starts to get nervous, tries to back out.
So you threw him off a roof?
I couldn't risk him warning the bank or going to the cops. I had to protect my interests.
And how'd that work out for you? Oh.
For some reason, the game cut him off, but he's supposed to say, "Hey Alfred, I've got Robert Haynes in custody. Send the police a tip." Which is something Batman does quite a bit in this game, is send the police anonymous tips. It's kind of neat. There's another challenge up here, which is to reach the top of the Soda Cola building in the Diamond District, which is, well, right here. So the next thing is to perform a straight 150-meter glide with no grapnel boost. And it's actually easy enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out these network relays in Coventry, just for, you know, gee whiz. And coincidentally, on my way to this farther one, I will be able to get that challenge for doing the boost. The only trick to doing 150 meters without the boost is to find somewhere high to start off with, and make sure that you're keeping your dive bombs and you're pulling back up with no problem. The Scion Steel Mill has a couple high places. Obviously, the top of the Soda Cola building, being one of the higher places in the city, is a great place to start. But overall, any place you go to, you can usually get a decent amount of airtime. And then for that, we also unlock some more glide drills, which I'll be doing in a minute. You know, because why not?
Hey, get that freak!
Yep, that's what I wanted to happen. So we'll go ahead and take out this data handler here, just because, well, you know, wrong place, wrong time.
You're one of the scumbags Enigma hired to collect information.
There are others? I thought...
Shut up! Just tell me where you hid the extortion data.
Okay, you win. I'll tell you where it is.
some reason I can't climb up that van, but with them out of the way, let's go ahead and take out some of these network relays. And there's also an upgrade I'm going to grab. You can see there's a separate one here for doing the Anarchy Most Wanted. I'll get to that before long. But I'm going to probably not take this. If I remember right, I go ahead and pick up the increased smoke volume. Yeah, because, you know, it's useful. Basically, it increases the radius that your smoke bomb impacts, so, you know, it affects more people at once, and it's super useful. The game actually does expect you to use smoke bombs in quite a few areas. You know, it just doesn't give you any other options of taking out the people that are trying to kill you. So, you know, whatever works, right? Along with that upgrade you get for doing the Anarchy Most Wanted, you'll also get an upgrade for closing off all these network relays, and by closing off I mean breaking spectacularly, and you'll get a separate upgrade for completing an Enigma data pack set. One of them is the cryptographic range amplifier, the other one's the power amplifier, but I don't remember which one is which. Either way, I will be getting them both eventually. Luckily, you don't have to do both in order to, or you don't have to do all of them to unlock the to unlock your bonus, which is, well, oddly nice of this game. You only have to do one set for each. Maybe they consider doing one set reward enough, and then eventually you'll get to doing the words fail me. Doing one is reward enough for the cryptographic amplifier, and doing all of them, well, you get to take down Enigma, which is always a thrill, right? This little puzzle right here is actually kind of weird. You would think, seeing, you know, these 4 of them in sort of a weird pattern, that there'd be something special to them, but no, all you have to do is just hit all 4 of them. There's no time limit, no nothing. Which seems like a wasted opportunity, but I'm not going to complain. I want to say that Coalbrow Brewery is supposed to be a reference to something in the Batman universe, but I can't think of what it might be off the top of my head. If anybody knows, man, give me a holler, because I'd just be interested to find out what it is. This game has a lot of, something I like about it is that all of your little references that you would see in the other games, such as your Arkham City stories and things like that, they're a lot more low-key in this game, and I mean that in a really good way. Like, in a couple places you'll find stuff like posters for Zatanna, who is a pretty famous magician in the DC universe, and also one of Batman's allies, and a little bit of a romantic interest. Here in the New 52, I don't think she's in quite the same slot as she was in the original run. I say original run, but probably around Batman Inc. time frame or so. But I do, no, actually, come to think of it, she was around Jezebel Jet time frame. But I don't know. I have not kept up with the comics that much since the New 52 happened, and wasn't that, oh, I don't know, 3-4 years ago? It's been a while.
I planted 3 bombs where Gotham's...
So my original plan was to go take care of this Anarchy supporter and, you know, do my business. But by accident, I ran into the story. So, you know, well, why not go ahead and do the story?
What was I thinking? Working on Christmas Eve. I should be at home in bed with a sandwich, a beer, and my girl.
I'm trying to find a way to drop down here, but it just wasn't meant to happen.
What's your 20?
On the balcony for a smoke with a menace.
Those men on the balcony, that could be my way in.
And you know, since I conveniently happen to be here, why not go ahead and do it, right?
I mean, we found the bastard's stubby little fingerprints right by the bodies. Yeah, we got Penguin now. Like to see him squirm out of this one. Fingerprints, 2 dead bodies. He's about to do some time.
Yeah, except forensics will take all the credit. And I'm the one who found the prints.
That's why they call it first response. First pickings on the loot, but none of the glory. Me, I'd take the loot over the glory any day.
I think these guys are a little corrupt. Call it a hunch. Something about loot and glory, I don't know. Here in Lacey Towers, there are, well, there's only really one thing of note to find. And, some of these doors, well, one of these doors in particular is, Dr. Penelope Young, psychiatrist. Nah, that can't be anybody important. So let's go ahead and investigate this crime scene.
The police believe Penguin murdered Black Mask. But why would he send me here if he was the killer? It doesn't add up. This crime took place days ago. The fire and the exposure to the elements make identifying the victims difficult. The male victim is wearing a black mask, but I can't positively identify him as Roman Sionis without a DNA analysis. Something I can't do in the field. I can identify the female victim based on her fingerprints. Tiffany Ambrose, Roman Sionis' girlfriend. Or one of them at least. She was no angel, long list of priors, but nothing to indicate she was the target here. The fire spread as a result of a Molotov cocktail thrown into the room. It may have been intended to destroy evidence. The shallow trajectory of the bullet suggests the shooter could be someone of Penguin's height. But the grooves on the floor suggest that the victim was killed by someone leaning back in a chair. This bullet was fired from a revolver. Ballistics analysis indicates a low angle of trajectory. The shooter could have been someone of Penguin's height. But the pattern in the gunpowder residue suggests the bullet was actually fired by someone lying on the ground. These fingerprints are a match for the Penguin, but they're on top of the soot from the fire. The cops were right. Penguin was in the room, but these prints prove he was here after the murders were committed. If he didn't kill Black Mask, who did? The only thing I know for certain is that Tiffany's shooter was lying on the floor. But why? These white streaks are shoe polish. Whoever shot Tiffany was being dragged along the floor. Besides the victims, there were 2 other people in the room. Tiffany's shooter, and whoever was dragging the shooter. The location from which the male victim was shot may tell me more. The DNA here doesn't belong to either of the victims. Whose is it? The fight broke out when someone startled the shooter. It's not clear who won the fight. It could have been either one of them. I should review the evidence to see if I can learn anything more about either the intruder or the shooter. Fabric analysis indicates the intruder was wearing a white suit or sport jacket. This fabric swatch could help identify the intruder, but I still can't identify the male victim's shooter. There's one impact area I haven't checked for clues. This DNA is from the female victim. The level of oxidation suggests it's been here for several days. If I review the evidence, I may be able to find out what she was doing when she was attacked. She was sending text messages to Roman Sionis about someone named the Joker. Someone killed Black Mask, but this crime took place several days ago, and I saw Black Mask earlier tonight. The only answers I have raise more questions. Who is the Joker? Was he the killer here? Or is he one of the assassins? I have a body, an unknown shooter, and an unknown assailant who attacked the shooter. I need to match the DNA samples against the records in the National Criminal Database to identify who was in the room. Alfred, I need access to the National Criminal Database.
Well, the only way to do that would be to infiltrate the Gotham City Police Department.
Then that's where I'm going.
Sir, you'd need to physically hack into their servers. If you insist on doing something that foolish, you'll need a powerful, non-lethal weapon. I recommend coming back here to pick up your concussion detonator.
Not a bad idea.
Man, if you thought all that crime scene putting together was great before, how about the stuff he was able to deduce from this? I will give him some credit. Batman didn't fall prey to the concept of, well, preconceived notions. You know, knowing that the Penguin was here, he always looked for a way to kind of debase his idea that maybe the Penguin wasn't the shooter. And, hey guy, this is our introduction to S.H.I.E.L.D. enemies. It's not much, but really it's mostly worth knowing that, hey, S.H.I.E.L.D's are going to be in the game from now on, so deal with it. And with that, I will see you next time.
Thank goodness you're all right, sir. You had me quite worried. Slade Wilson is no ordinary foe.
He ambushed me. I should have been more prepared.
You had no way of knowing he was on the ship.
That may be, but I was so focused on Cobblepot I lost track of my surroundings. It was sloppy. Amateur.
You really shouldn't be so hard on yourself.
There's too much at stake for me not to be. We might have to cancel New Year's at Wayne Manor. It's going to take a while for the city to recover from tonight.
Absolutely not, sir.
I didn't realize the party meant so much to you.
It doesn't. Only, it's one of the rare times you actually seem to enjoy yourself.
I enjoy myself plenty, Alfred.
I hope you're lying. For both our sakes.